Hey, my name is Lindsay Mercer, and I did my paper on nonverbal communication. So basically, nonverbal communication is any type of communication that doesn't have to do with the exact words that come out of your mouth. So there's 5 major different parts of nonverbal communication, and those are kinesis, haptics, vocalics, proxemics, and chronemics. So kinesics is basically anything to do with bodily movements, so it could be facial expressions, gestures, eye contact, posture. So the coolest thing I thought was about kinesics was that gestures aren't all the same in every country. So if you go to Japan, they actually point with their middle finger, which is obscene over here, and in Canada they do a thumbs up to do number 1, whereas we would do this with our index finger. So that was pretty cool. Next is haptics, and haptics has to do with touch. So the coolest thing I thought about touch was the different types of physical interaction. So there's functional professional, social polite, friendship warmth, love intimacy, and sexual arousal. So functional professional is basically like if you go to the dermatologist and she's touching all over your face. That's weird because she's a stranger, but it's not weird because she's a dermatologist. But you wouldn't want any just regular stranger touching your face like that. So next we have social polite, and that's basically when, say you go to an interview and you meet someone for the first time. They're a stranger, but you're going to shake their hand because that's a polite thing to do. So then you have friendship warmth, and I think this varies depending on what friendship you're in, if it's opposite sex, same sex, or whatever. But I think friendship warmth, if those boundaries are pushed, it can definitely turn into love intimacy. And then if those boundaries are pushed, it can definitely turn into sexual arousal. So vocalics is a nonverbal part of speech, so tone of voice basically. So the coolest thing I thought about this was the rising and falling of voices. So when someone starts a sentence, their voice rises, and when they end it, their voice falls. So we actually subconsciously know not to interrupt people because their voice hasn't fallen yet, and that may be sometimes why we accidentally do because we think they're done talking, maybe because their voice didn't fall. And that's actually why children sometimes interrupt people, because they haven't learned that yet, that when a voice falls, that's when the conversation's over. So then we have proxemics, and that's the way space relates to communication. So it could be personal space or the actual location you're in. But I'm just going to talk about the 4 zones of space, and that's public space, social space, personal space, and intimate space. Those are just kind of important to keep separate because you wouldn't want a complete stranger in your intimate space. Would hope not. So then go to chronemics, and that's how time affects nonverbal communication. So it can be how long it takes you to reply, the amount of time spent talking, or the actual time of the conversation or interaction. So nonverbal communication, I think, is just important because it can enhance the verbal cues, but sometimes it can contradict, and that's where things get misunderstood. But hopefully, most of the time, it enhances it. Thanks.